Back in the day, there were these group of traveling salesmen that were known as snake oil salesmen. We'll talk about modern snake oil salesmen next on the Constitution Study.
There's one thing you have to know wherever you make your stand. Came from a long through line of everyday Americans.
Hello there, everyday Americans. Paul Engel with the Constitution Study here, where we read and study the Constitution and teach the rising generation to be free. This is another Ponder This episode. I have an idea we're going to ponder. First, please head over to the website, constitutionstudy.com, right there. Comment, ask questions, let me know what's going on. You can find everything I'm working on, all the different projects we've got going, every place I'll be speaking. I look forward to meeting you at these events. Please come up and say hello. If you have an event you'd like me to consider going to, let me know through the website. I'll be more than happy to try and get there. Today, I want to ponder this thought. I had this the other day. Many years ago, decades ago, there were these traveling salesmen, and they would sell these remedies. Usually they're home remedies. They promised to cure everything from the common cold to cancer. And usually they were just patent medicine that did little, if any, good and often did a lot of harm. But one thing they did really, really well was separate the fool from his money, because people believed the promises. And we're seeing the same thing today. You see, we have people making lots of promises that socialism will do this and socialism will do that, and it'll take care of your health care, and it'll provide a living wage, and it'll make sure that you're educated, and it'll give us a clean environment, and it'll get us off of fossil fuels, and everybody will be happy, and the birds will be singing, and the lion will lay down with the lamb, and everything's going to be perfect. There's just there's a couple of real problems with that nobody ever bothers to ask. See, the question I have, number one, is if socialism is so wonderful, if it's such a great idea, why do so many people have to be forced into it? Those who are promoting socialism, if they think it's so wonderful, why do so few of them adopt it on their own? Why must they force other people to adopt it? See, I think it's because, like snake oil salesmen, they're telling you the good things that might happen, but they're not bothering to tell you the things that probably will happen, that it will cost you. See, I find it interesting that people that are saying the government should be in charge of all of these things are usually either the people who are poor and don't have stuff and they're just looking for free stuff, or it's the people in power that will wield the power that they're asking to be given to the government. You see, if socialism is so great, people should be rushing to adopt it. Why do governments have to impose it? Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Kamala Harris, all of these politicians, why do you have to force people to adopt this if it's such a great idea? Well, the reason should be fairly obvious. Because most people don't want the government in control. They don't want the government telling you how to live your life. They don't want the government telling you what you should get for education. They don't want the government telling you what you should have for health care. They don't want the government telling you what type of vehicle you can own or what you can power your house with. They don't want it. Because the one thing these people almost never, ever, ever answer when they offer you all this free stuff is, what's it going to cost? Oh, sure, they promise, don't worry, it's not going to cost you. We're going to charge somebody else. Somebody else will pay the bill. But what they never answer is not just money. What is it going to cost you? You see, if you're going to implement socialism, it's going to cost you more than dollars and cents. What's it going to cost you? What it's going to cost you is your liberty, your rights, your autonomy. It's going to cost you your freedom. Because the only way for socialism to quote unquote work is if the people in power force you to adopt it. See, we've tried this. We've tried socialism. We tried it all the way back at the first the Mayflower Compact and the first colony in New England, and it didn't work so well. I believe they tried it in Jamestown. It didn't work so well. It's been tried in the Soviet Union. It's been tried in North Korea. It's been tried in Vietnam. It's been tried in Venezuela. It's been tried in Cuba. Do you know what all these places have in common? Either it's been an utter failure and these countries have collapsed, or the countries have given up on full socialism. Interesting, China went from a third world nation. When they started instituting capitalism, they became a powerhouse. Now they're trying to bring that back to socialism. I find that very interesting. But no one seems to count the cost. And I think there's a very good reason, and part of it is human nature. You see, there's two, as I said, there are two groups of people that seem to be in love with this idea of socialism. And one group are the people that don't have. And I can understand that. You know, if you see others and you want what they have, someone promising to give it to you, sounds like a good deal. It's greedy, but it sounds like a good deal. Someone promises you something for nothing, sounds like a good deal. Although I seem to remember being told that if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now, the other group that seems really enamored with this idea of socialism are the people who will be in charge under a socialist government. You see, people kind of forget, if you look at socialist nations, there is a very small, very well-off elite. The Soviet Union had it, China has it, North Korea has it, Cuba has it, Venezuela had it. There's a very small number of people who are very comfortable, very wealthy, and very much in charge. They wield tremendous amounts of power. And the vast majority of the rest of the nation suffers. Starvation, death, tyranny. Are you willing to buy that patent medicine of socialism that will promise you everything for your freedom? For your ability to decide for yourself how you will live your life? See, that's the snake oil. That's the patent medicine of showing you everything they promise it's going to fix with absolutely no proof that it will actually fix anything. And never showing you the cost, never showing you the side effects, the downside of that type of government. You see, socialism is incompatible with our constitutional republic because the Constitution recognizes the power, the sovereign power of the nation is we, the people. And we tell government what it can and cannot do. Socialism says the power is we, the state. And we will tell the people what they can and cannot do. So when you see politicians promoting socialism, recognize they are promoting tyranny, where they are in charge and you will do what you are told, or you will suffer the consequences. Those consequences may be as simple as taxes, or may be as serious as imprisonment, and in some cases, maybe as serious as death. Take a look at Europe. Look at what Europe is going through. You can't blow your nose in Europe without some government officer saying, well, the tissue has to be so big, and so the state controls every part of their life. If you live in England and you are sick, whether or not you get treated is up to the government. What you get taught in school is up to the government. And if you don't know the truth, you can't be free. Sorry, I hate to burst your bubble, but socialism is snake oil. It never works. It never has worked. I can see no situation where it does work, except for a very small group. There's a reason why our founding fathers said, no, 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 every state will have a Republican form of government. See, here's the other dirty secret that you almost never hear. See, of all the people that are calling for socialism, you know what you almost never see? Almost never. You can never see them living socialist lives on their own. There are only a couple, I can only think of one or two well-known people who actually live how they're telling everyone else to live. You see, if politicians really thought that socialism was the right thing to do, really thought that they should be giving all their money to the government to do all this stuff, why don't they give their money to the government? Why do they spend so much time and effort and money to not give money to the government? Why, if they want to tell everyone else what they can and cannot buy in the store, do they not say, well, somebody else tell me what I can and cannot buy in the store? See, so often we get caught up in the hype of the snake oil salesman telling us how great and wonderful this is going to be, and we never stop and count the cost, because the cost is dear. And I'm not just talking dollars and cents. If we continue down this road to socialism, because we are well down the road, we have socialized education. We have more and more. We're seeing socialized industry. Look at what they're doing to they're talking about regulating speech through Facebook and Twitter. They want to regulate that. Where's your freedom of speech if the government gets to tell you what you can and cannot post on Facebook or on Twitter? Where's your freedom of the press if these large internet companies are not allowed to print what you want to print because the government says so? Are you truly willing to sell your birthright as an American, or the right you have gained by becoming an American citizen, for the promise of free stuff, when every time that's been tried, what you get is garbage? You don't get the good stuff. You get the leftovers. Soviet Union, China, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, are the people getting the good stuff? Do they get the best meat? Do they get the best produce? Do they get the best cars? No, they get the garbage. It's only the elite few that get the good stuff. So think about that the next time someone promises you a socialistic utopia. Remind them that it's never worked, and ask yourself, are you willing to pay everything you have, everything you are, everything you've been given as an American citizen for the promise of table scraps? Think about that, and join me the next time on the Constitution Study.
There's one thing you have to know wherever you make your stand. Came from